Hi, I'm Michal Lorיא, the CEO and I'm co-founder of Rplace. The year is 2030. The outside temperature is 48 degrees. It's hot, it's unbearably hot, and there is no access to water. This will be our reality if we'll not reduce our greenhouse gas emission by half and manage our water and nature in a sustainable way. Over 80% of the wastewater worldwide are not treated. They also emit a significant amount of GHG emission, 3 times more than treated wastewater in wastewater treatment plants. Conventional wastewater treatment plants represent 3% of the total GHG emission worldwide. The UN SDG 6.2 aims to increase the number or the percentage of the treated wastewater from 20% to 60%. We have 7 years to increase that number. So in order to meet this goal, we need to combine the two versions of the conventional wastewater treatment with a more ecological and cost-effective wastewater treatment plant, which is the constructed wetland. It has low GHG emission. It doesn't consume energy at all or a little bit. It doesn't use chemicals. It has a lower setup and maintenance costs, short setup time, and numerous SDGs. Constructed wetlands can generate significant income from the carbon and impact markets. However, there is need for continuous, accurate, and reliable data. That's where Rplace comes in. Rplace develops impact and performance, MRV, for ecological wastewater treatment solutions. MRV stands for Measure, Report, and Verify, which are essential components of carbon and impact certification processes. With Rplace platform, all stakeholders could view their project real-time online and make sure their project have the highest and longest economic value and best performance. So how does it work? We use the most advanced monitoring technologies. We put sensors in the entrance and the exit of the constructed wetland. We also use sensors around the constructed wetland, and we collect the data and translate it into a certification, the carbon credit and impact certification and water reuse reports. That means we collect data in 3 different areas: water quality, that's first, the GHG emissions, and the co-benefits, the SDGs. Because the MRV will function also as a management tool, it will provide notification, optimization recommendations, predictions, and statistics. It's important to note in this respect that there is no management tool for constructed wetlands, and there are no constructed wetland projects in the voluntary and compliance markets. So we are currently in the POC phase in Emek Hefer, Israel. We are guiding this Nablus River constructed wetland. We're using an existing CDM methodology, avoidance of methane in wastewater treatment, and moving from anaerobic to aerobic systems. It's 3 hectares. And we anticipate to generate minimal value of minimal value of $1 million in the long term of 10 years time. So our business model is B2B. We offer eco wastewater treatment plants to connect their existing or planned projects to the carbon and impact markets. And by that, we will generate carbon credits and SaaS revenues. Our ecological wastewater treatment market will be by 2031, $31.2 billion. Our TAM is $6 billion. Our initiative is supported by new EU regulations and laws in the areas of wastewater treatment, water reuse, carbon, biodiversity, and circular economy. It's also very supporting the 3 biggest trends in wastewater treatment, also supports our initiative. The 3 biggest trends are sustainability, decentralization, and digitalization. By 2030, we aim to generate $3 million that will be based on 100 million CO2 equivalent avoidance and removal that will be based on 10,000 hectares of ecological wastewater treatment projects. In addition to me, in Rplace team, Hadass Ganot-Otan and Yaki Tumor, and together we have many years of experience in environmental management, sustainability, and product and data-driven technology. We also collaborate with world-leading companies in the area of climate, sustainability, and technology. We have just completed 4 acceleration programs, and now we are developing in the POC the dashboard for the Sharon River Authority. And in the pipeline, we have 2 more customers, GAT Foods, Brigat, and Bold Energy in the United Emirates. Join us in making a world impact. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michal. That was enlightening. Okay. And please, we have questions now from Bracha. You'll start with the first question. Okay. אז קודם כל תודה רבה, היה מעניין מאוד. I'll switch to English, it's okay, for the benefit of everyone, okay? So first, I didn't quite understand if your technology, it's not, I mean, you're not profiting from the wastewater treatment themselves. So it's from, who are you profiting from?
Sorry, the presentation was not updated, so it's the wrong one, never mind. It's all written in the, never mind. So we are actually an MRV, which means that we put our MRV in planned or existing constructed wetlands. We are not the planners and constructing of the construct wetland. So what we offer is in one solution, a management tool and financial tool. That means that if you want to, it has different types of roadmaps. One is for industries that want to reduce their carbon footprint. And in that sense, they want to have like a certificate of carbon certificate or impact certificate that we have in the case of Brigat. Okay, and the other roadmap will be for municipalities, or like we met yesterday from Africa, they are struggling with wastewater. And in order for them to build a wastewater treatment plant, they need money. So then they can use the carbon credit, and then we have a rev share. It means that, yeah, it's... Yeah.
Okay, so you're counting on the rev share strategy.
It's rev share
from carbon
SAS,
credits. From carbon credits.
It's rev share, SAS, and the telemetry kit that we will put. We take all the sensors together. It means
the sensors are not yours. It's
no,
third-party sensors.
Exactly.
So you are just aggregating the data and providing some information about the current operation, some recommendation for operation of the full facility in the wetland.
Yes.
Okay. And what about the timeline? How much time it takes to treat water this way with regards and compared to the conventional ones?
It takes 1 to 2 days for a construct wetland. Once the water comes out, it goes out in 1 to 2. It depends on the construct wetland, how big it is, how intensive it is. It could be between 1 to 2 days. So it's the one disadvantage of construct wetland, it's the land. But in all other aspects of treatment, it has a huge advantages compared to the conventional ones, which are very highly, very costly in terms of building and operation. The biggest disadvantage of conventional ones is the operational cost. That's why 80% of the wastewater worldwide are not treated.
Thanks much for the presentation. My question is, so definitely I understand the advantages in doing an MRV play in a specific subsector, and you've chose to focus on constructed wetlands. I'm trying to understand what is the size of the market here. You said 6 billion, but to my impression, and maybe I'm wrong, this is like a growing market and a new trend to kind of shift away from the old legacy solutions that you mentioned into the constructed wetlands. So I'm trying to understand what is the potential of revenues here and how many projects of wetlands exist and in which countries?
So first of all, there is right now the market of the ecological wastewater treatment. It's 16.7 billion. It will be in 10 years, 31.2. So that's for your question. There is a very harsh regulation right now, today or 2 days ago in the EU, the wastewater directive and the minimal requirements for water reuse, because it has to be said that Europe is drying. Everywhere in the world, there is a water scarcity problem, very, very bad. So we're actually combating or mitigating climate, water, and biodiversity crisis in one solution. So our market is it's a bit tricky because it's a combination of the constructed wetland with the impact and the carbon market. That means yesterday we were in the Israeli export conference for water. We were talking with a lot of companies. So one company, for instance, from Spain, they need to reduce their carbon footprint. They manage more than 200 facilities for conventional wastewater treatment. How do they do it? That's a way to do it. That's an easy and the right way, because they're suffering from an overflow, if anybody knows what an overflow means. So in that sense, you get the water reuse and the land and the ecosystem restoration. A lot of co-benefits are involved in this solution. So it makes the economic value of those projects really high.
Okay, clear. One last question is, are you selling to water utilities mostly?
So one type of customer is water utilities. It could be also industries like the beverage and food industry, agriculture industry. It could be a diverse, but it has to be said that a lot of countries nowadays, they have policy to increase, to take constructed wetland as the wastewater solution. In Israel, we're very used to wastewater treatment plants, but it's not working anymore because the population growth is growing and it won't match. That's what's happening in the energy sector. Nowadays, it happens in the wastewater treatment sector. So decentralization is the future, and sustainability, of course.
שאלה קצרצרה, אחד הדברים החשובים בקיבוע פחמן זה additionality, תוספת, שהוא לא היה מתקבע גם ככה. אי אפשר לבוא ליער שקיים ולהגיד הוא מקבע פחמן, מקבל עליו כסף, כי היער כבר שם לפני. אצלכם המפעלים האלה גם ככה קיימים ומקבעים פחמן כחלק מהתהליך, אז מה התוספת פה בעצם שלא הייתה קיימת בלעדיכם? האם או שפספסתי את זה ואני לא הבנתי?
So in the sense of the industries, it's reducing the carbon footprint. It's not the additionality in the carbon credit. They won't gain carbon credits. But in the sense of other projects, like if you have lagoons or septic tanks, which happens all around the world, in Africa, for instance, so they can replace the lagoons if they want. They need nowadays, for instance, in Ethiopia, we have a colleague that is involved, and he says, okay, they need to enlarge the quantity of the lagoons. But instead, you can come and say, no, you can build constructed wetlands. You have in additionality, you can use the additionality and to gain the revenues, the income from the carbon market. And together you can, deploy this solution.
I just wonder if it's counted additionality or not. Just something to think about, but I'm not an expert in that.
Yes, of course.
Maybe I have a question. Maybe you can answer it. It's known that wetlands have contributed a lot to the methane emission. Well,
yeah, that's
to the methane emission. And
methane, but we have to really differentiate between wetlands and constructed wetlands. I couldn't get into it because constructed wetlands are not an open source of water. The water is going underneath the rocks, and then you don't have methane emission coming out from the wetland.
So you're measuring this as well?
We're avoiding methane because in the plants you have microorganisms.
So that's a way to reduce GHG directly. So
there are three gases, greenhouse gas emission, involved in this process. It's carbon, methane, and N2O, which is 300 times more
exactly
worse than the carbon. Yeah,
thanks.
That was very enlightening. I think there are more questions, but they can meet you later on.